Hey everyone, I'm Ty, and welcome to the channel where fear meets fun. I talk about all things horror, making it challenging and entertaining, and in today's video, I challenged myself to watch Guillermo Del Toro's movies for a week. A week is a commitment, so I did my best to stay in high spirits throughout this journey, and without further ado, let's get into the video. After a tragedy in her family, a young writer is torn between her loyal childhood friend and a mysterious visitor. Hoping to escape her past, she's taken to a strange house, one that seems to be literally alive. I decided to start this journey off with 2015's Crimson Peak, and I must say, Del Toro does a wonderful job of transporting you into a world. I'm in constant awe of the costuming and set designs of his films, and to stop from sounding like a broken record, just assume that I'll love all these elements in his films unless I say otherwise. I did adore the look of this film as a whole, how dark yet rich the colors were. Even with the lighter, more pale colors, it looked soft and inviting, like Edith's costuming versus Sir Thomas and Lady Lucille. I wish Sir Thomas and Edith's relationship was genuine and didn't move too fast because I'm not gonna lie, I ate that romance up a little bit. What I can say is I'm a sucker for a good chaser, pause. But if you are a person capable of killing someone, you need to go to jail or preferably 6 feet under. Overall, I think the movie did a good job telling the story it wanted to share. The whole cast did well, especially the duo, Tom Hiddleston and Jessica Chastain. However, the ghost visuals looked a bit silly instead of scary to me. If I were a kid, they probably would have terrified me, but the story kept my attention, and for that reason, I gave this movie a 3.5 out of 5. A Nazi occult ritual in World War II accidentally brings a demon baby into the world, but there's a twist. The baby was not only rescued, but raised to fight dangerous supernatural threats. I watched 2004's Hellboy. The most jarring thing about this movie was its uneven pacing. I'm not sure if it's due to the editing and or directing, but it was really noticeable. Going from scene to scene felt like experiencing whiplash. The look of Hellboy wasn't as horrible to look at as I thought it would be. Seeing Abe's sapien made me wonder if Del Toro is obsessed with the creature from the Blue Lagoon, since that movie and The Shape of Water both have creatures that have a similar otherworldly look. Agent Myers and Hellboy's relationship was an appealing dynamic to witness, and as the movie continued, you appreciate their growing respect for each other. The addition of Abe's power being able to show the professor the past was a nice addition to the fantastical element of this film as well, and it's fascinating how you can tell how much Del Toro has grown as a director, and he's done a great job in honing in on his visual screen presence. Overall, some of the line reads were cheesy and corny. The CGI was very early 2000s, but the score really shined in moments of thrill and suspense. And for that reason, I gave this movie a 3 out of 5. The big three are back and thrown into their toughest fight yet when an exiled elven prince sets out to take Earth back. Determined to unleash the unstoppable Golden Army and wipe out humanity, he pushes the world towards disaster unless someone can stop him. I watched 2006 Hellboy 2. I really liked the look of the addition of the elves and the slight improvement in the monster costuming and CGI effects. The world building was better and the pacing was improved, but by no means is this movie perfect. Unfortunately, this movie suffered from sequelitis. The characters we've come to know that the movie was hoping to flesh out became more annoying and less ambiguous in nature, leaving the Elven Prince plotline to be the most interesting element of the movie. I did enjoy the comedic moments and laughable violence, like when Hellboy throws the old woman across the street, but overall, we are watching a Hellboy movie after all, and when a side character outshines the very thing we clicked for, it kinda sucks. I was kind of bored at times when Hellboy and the crew were on screen versus the elves, and when both sides met, I was more interested, and for that reason, I gave this movie a 2.5 out of 5. Set in the Cold War era, this tale follows a mute janitor who falls in love with an amphibious creature held captive in a lab where she works and risks everything to help him break free. I watched 2017's The Shape of Water. The sudden full frontal nudity at the start of the film immediately signaled how bold this film was willing to be, and it caught me off guard, especially knowing I hadn't even reached the creature storyline yet. I went in aware of the controversy surrounding the romance, but I didn't realize the film would explore so much more than that beneath the surface. Beyond the love story, it delves into themes of longing and loss, sexuality, queerness, embracing differences, racism, and the many ways people are lonely. I really liked how the film shifted between the workers' perspectives and those in power. I think Octavia Spencer and Sally Hawkins did a great job in their acting performance. I also took an unexpected liking to Giles. His line delivery reminded me so much of Stanley Tucci, of who I also adore. My main gripe with this film is its reliance on female nudity. I don't mind nudity when it serves the story and has a clear purpose, but Hollywood's long-standing pattern in prioritizing female nudity while rarely subjecting male characters to the same gaze is impossible to ignore. What makes it more striking here is the irony. The film critiques how women in this era are treated as objects rather than full human beings, yet it still leans on the same objectifying conventions by appealing to the male gaze. Even today, the entertainment industry continues to struggle with systemic misogyny, from the types of roles women are offered to even how their bodies are portrayed on screen. The issue isn't just because of this film, but all of the films that have continued to play a part. But since we're touching on this film, if the amphibian man has a peen, why not show it? I don't understand. And that's the double standard I don't stand for. I feel like it was a missed opportunity. Is that something that I wish were shown? No, but I feel like, to be fair, I mean, why not? Overall, I think in any sense, a relationship between a human and non-human will always be icky to me. I'm just not the audience for that, and this is the weirdest Del Toro movie I've watched so far. I liked elements of the movie, but I didn't care too much for the story. So for that reason, I gave this movie a 1.5 out of 5. Earth's getting attacked by aliens coming out of the Pacific, so humanity rolls out giant piloted robots to fight back. Now it's up to two unlikely heroes to save the planet before everything falls apart. I watched 2013's Pacific Rim. I will say that this movie didn't waste any time throwing you right into the action. There was heavy exposition that didn't need 40 minutes or more to build up to, which was a nice change of pace from The Shape of Water and Crimson Peak. Still, even though the opening worked for me, the rest of the story's pacing felt pretty fast, but the runtime felt slow. Honestly, you can't even tell this is a movie directed by Del Toro. It came across like any other generic movie with nothing that really stood out to me. I did notice, now 4 movies down, how much Del Toro loves using on-screen text to indicate the location or time, and how his title cards are always edited to look like they're carved out of some material related to the film to form the title. The Hollywood CGI is more obvious in this movie than in any of Del Toro's other films. Rewatching his earlier work makes me appreciate not just how CGI brings his stories to life in the current day, but also how much the use of practical effects, costumes, and committed actors contribute to making the characters and the world feel much more concrete. Overall, the sound effects for this movie was fantastic. The CGI still holds up, but the movie as a whole was not memorable, and I really felt the runtime on this one, and for that reason, I gave this movie a 2 out of 5. A smooth talking carnival hustler teams up with a sharp, no nonsense psychologist who turns out to be even more dangerous than he is. I watched 2021's Nightmare Alley. From watching The Shape of Water and Crimson Peak in this video, and even Frankenstein, which I also covered in this video if you haven't seen it, it's clear that Nightmare Alley fits perfectly into the signature style Del Toro brings to all of his work. The stunning costuming, the smooth transitions, the whimsicality, haunting scores, the spot-on casting, those massive, beautifully crafted sets, and a well-paced story with deeper narrative, Del Toro has completely mastered his aesthetic. My negatives is, out of all of the movies on this list so far, this one felt like it was watching me. And what I mean by that is that I just wasn't really invested in the plot or the story enough to stay fully engaged. At times, it felt like the movie was trying its absolute hardest to entertain me, and it just wasn't successful. The relationship dynamics, especially between Molly and Stan, were just plain weird. There was no real build-up, no chemistry, nothing that made me believe in them. Because I didn't care about the characters, I also couldn't bring myself to feel anything, not even surprise when Stan's downfall finally happened. Overall, I found this movie too boring up until the last 35 minutes of its runtime, but even then, it didn't really save the film as a whole. So for that reason, I gave this movie a 1 out of 5. As fascism takes hold in Mussolini's Italy, a magically alive wooden boy tries to meet his father's expectations. I watched 2022's Guillermo Del Toro's Pinocchio. Stop motion animation will never cease to amaze me with how much work and dedication it requires. The fact that this movie took 10 years to develop and more than 2 years to film is incredibly impressive. I was also drawn to the art style, especially the intricate imperfections of the handcrafted puppets, which helped bring this whimsical film to life. I didn't really know the original Pinocchio story, so I can't say how true this film stays to it, but man, does Del Toro's visuals always just win me over. That said, the moment Geppetto starts singing, I realized I was in trouble. I had no idea that this movie was a musical going into it. Had I known, I probably would have picked another film because I really don't like musicals. I really hate it when I'm fully immersed in a story and the characters suddenly break into song.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Sure, it was fun as a kid watching DComs and Disney animated movies, but as an adult, I just don't want to sit through that. And sadly, this movie felt longer and exhausting to watch. Overall, this animated movie had appealing, easy on the eye visuals and deeper themes of fatherhood, grief, life, fascism, sadly, and love. This movie had me skipping through all of the musical bits, and for that reason, I give this movie a 1 out of 5. And that's it. That's all the 7 movies I watched from the director Guillermo Del Toro that I watched for this video. If you made it to the end of this video, let me know in the comments below what your favorite and least favorite film is from him. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out, and I'll see you in the next one.